And today I'm talking about why do women work so hard and we don't get ahead as much as our male colleagues. Over the last couple of days, I have spoken to probably 12 individual women, and then I had two of my group calls. And I would say one of the main factors that women carry with themselves into the workplace is a sense of loyalty. Now, if you combine that with how you were raised to work hard and satisfy other people's expectations, you have this stickiness to overdoing. You have this stickiness to feeling like part of your life is needing to prove your worth and prove yourself. And while that might feel really, really true, it is not true because you watch around you who gets ahead and who gets the accolades. It's not the people who work the hardest. Take a look, see who gets promoted. In some of my leadership coaching and coaching groups, one of the things we talk about all the time is how to pull back a little bit on the striving, how to pull back a little bit on proving yourself, how to pull back a little bit on working so hard. And most people talk about putting up boundaries. If you put up a boundary, that's a really hard lot of effort. It's a lot of energy to keep people out. But if you come from a sense of fully owning yourself, that's a natural fountain of power. It's not an exertional force that you push out to keep people away. I hope that that makes some sense because one of the things that gets in our way as women and why we are so behind on how we progress in the workplace compared to our male colleagues, like it's gotten worse, ladies. All right. The research is out there. The research is showing that it has gotten worse. Women aren't less ambitious. They just lose their steam to be ambitious around 15 to 20 years into one's career. Now, I never lost my steam to be ambitious because I always considered it to be a challenge to overcome. I wasn't going to let the boys win. Now, if you go back to my childhood, that's how I grew up as well. I didn't want the boys to outrun me, outthrow me, outclimb the tree. I wanted to compete. And I could until our bodies started to change. And so when I went to college, I wanted to be the best version of me that I could in college. And I continued to want to be curious and adventurous about how far I could go, how much I could impact and make a difference and be helpful like at a bigger scale. And so since I was a young girl, I was interested in science, I'm interested in how the body works, and I'm interested in success, why certain people are successful and others struggle, why it seems easy for some. And I've boiled it down to a few things that I'm writing about over the next 30 days. By the way, we're like 35 days from my book coming out. Soul Code, get your advanced copy or pre-order it. It would help me out a lot because then you can help boost my numbers on Amazon and you can get some free gifts that will come right to you. So here's the thing, thesoulcodebook.com, thesoulcodebook.com. So put a the and a book after this, soulcode.com, and you will be taken to a page where you can order on Amazon or Barnes and Noble. And on that same page, you can register for an event that we're having on September 15th. All day, I'm going to teach you and coach you how to use all of the techniques in the Soul Code. And that will help reduce your burnout. It'll help reduce your sense of self doubt. It will help you enliven your sense of identity, etc. Mandy, I hope you're still here because I know that you asked me about communication. And all of the answers to why our careers may not be working the way we think they ought to, and or why we may not be as visible or as effective or as impactful, or why it seems like we have to work 3 times as hard as our male colleagues and we're still sort of kept in a box, is because all of the striving, all the long hours, all the proving it energy takes its toll on our nervous system. and we get into a fight or flight mode that is our automatic default. And likely that is putting you into a negative deficit physically, psychologically. And what happens when we are in a negative with our body, with our psychology, is that we are at our brittle, not best selves. So anything we do from that point of reference, communication, problem solving, handling crucial conversations, making the best of a team, empowering others. Like when we are feeling that we're not our best selves, we are not going to be operating at home or at work in a way that is making the world better. You're going to be needy. You're going to be tired. You're going to be crispy, irritable, tired, hungry. You're going to want to have more wine than you ought to have. You're not going to be able to sleep because your brain is on hyper alert because that stress mode is activated. Again, this is 1/3 of my book. 1/3 of my book is helping you understand your nervous system, because if you don't get how your body is responding to stress and how it hurts you, you have very little chance of being able to manage that, because you are the only one who can manage your stress response. When I was a young 22, 23-year-old nurse, I taught my cardiac patients how to do deep breathing, and we had to call it stress management, but it was really meditation. What is meditation? Meditation is the practice of calming your inner sense of self so that you can optimize your nervous system rather than it be raked through the coals. Your nervous system wants to optimize, and your nervous system wants to basically deregulate its stress response. It wants to come down. But if you don't give it time to do that, it can't. So you have to give it time to do that. And I'm going to tell you this. So many people I've coached over the years, oh, no, I can't meditate. I can't sit still. Well, you can't sit still because you haven't trained yourself to sit still. Your brain is like a puppy, and it's going to be doing zoomies until it's taught and trained and given positive rewards for sitting. You can train any puppy to sit still. You can train any puppy to behave. You have to give it consistency, and it has to have the demands that are going to be programmed in. So if you say your dog's name when you want them to sit or stand or whatever, and you only use that command, they're getting confused, because you might also use their name when you call them for dinner. So if you're using one command for everything that you want your dog to do, your dog's confused. I'm not a dog trainer. I have had a couple of them as my clients, though. You have to have unique commands for the different things you want your puppy to do. And if you don't do that, your puppy's confused. So if you don't give your brain and your nervous system unique commands, it doesn't know what to do. It's going to stay hypervigilant. It's going to stay overactive. It's going to stay on alert because it thinks that every time you had a bad conversation with your boss, that you're under threat. And if you're operating in your life that way, you're under threat 24/7. Your body is aging fast. Your brain is not getting what it needs to recover every day. You're trashing your entire physical system. And trust me, I know what that's like. I ended up having cancer while I was training for a marathon, thinking that I was like one of the healthiest people around because I was training for a marathon. How did cancer come visit me? I had so much poison in my body about negative talk and all sorts of things. Now, I can't say that my negative self-talk created the cancer, but I will tell you that the environment in our bodies, if it's negative, it's acidic. If your body's acidic, it's prone to diseases. And cancer loves when your body is in a weakened state, because those cells can divide and those cells can do what they're programmed to do, which is cancer cells are programmed to run amok. And then they start killing off the healthy cells. I don't teach you about cancer in my soul code book, but I do teach you everything about your nervous system that you need to know to be able to deregulate it and meditate. So meditation could simply look like you sitting still for 1 minute. And then the next day, 2. The next day, 3. The next day, 5. Ooh, skip ahead. If you can sit still for 10 minutes each and every morning, and you can remind your nervous system what it is like to be still, and do this in the morning. If you practice meditation before you go to sleep, your body learns that meditation equals sleep time. And that's not what we want to train it to do. Remember, your mind is a puppy. If you have one command on everything you do, your body gets confused. So meditation is to optimize your day, not to go to sleep. So hear me when I say this. When you optimize your day with 10 minutes of quiet stillness, you are reminding your nervous system who's in charge, what it feels like to be calm and optimized. And here's the kicker, ladies. Please take this in. When you sit for 10 minutes in stillness, you are giving space for your soul to begin to creep out of its hole. Oh, it can look around. Oh, and you know what? It might even say, hey, Julie, how are you? Hey, Mandy, how's it going? Hey, Liz, I've missed you. Your soul needs space. I can't coach you on bringing your soul alive if your nervous system is a wreck and it's keeping your soul from playing. That's how it works. That's why all of the coaching I've done over the past 12 years has always included meditation and a daily ritual. Now, my book walks you through all of that. First third of the book. Let me see. How many pages? I'll just tell you. Okay, it will be 59 to 62 pages of how your nervous system works and how it gets in the way so that you can then enjoy the rest of the owner's manual of your soul. This is really an owner's manual for your soul. And then you can bring your soul alive and you can bring it into its fruition. Glad you got the book, Mandy. So please understand this. When your nervous system is on hyper alert, your soul cannot come out and enjoy its life. You feel stifled, you feel shrinking, you feel even further burnt out, you feel like you're wasting your life, you feel like something is really wrong and you don't know how to fix it because it seems like the things that you keep doing to work hard and please your boss and get another job, you keep getting behind her the harder you work. And that is true, that's what happens. So the topic of today is really about working hard doesn't get you where you want to go. But I needed to and wanted to give you the backstory on why you work so damn hard. You work so damn hard because you are behind the 8 ball, because your nervous system is provoking you to work harder to prevent from the threat that you feel is happening. And the threats are perceived. Now, I know what a toxic boss feels like, and I know that that is real. But what's happening is that you're letting that person's toxicity mean something to you. What if your boss's toxicity was because they're all built wrong? And what if it had nothing to do with you? What if you communicated well enough to set expectations with your boss and that you were able to be comfortable in yourself by setting expectations and being awesome? You know, I helped coach a client today and said to her, I want you to practice the arrogance switch. And so many women are so afraid of being arrogant. But what happens when you're arrogant? You're going to get promoted because that's who gets promoted. Am I right or right? You can put a yes in the chat if you understand what I'm saying, because if you know, you know. But here's the thing. You don't want to be perceived as arrogant. You're afraid of that. It's a shadow that you're so afraid of. So what you do is you overcompensate not to look like that, which means that you're now less than and you're now reacting and making sure that you're not pissing people off. So that increases your stress. So now you have the stress of not wanting to be perceived as a certain way, plus the stress of feeling bad that you have a toxic boss, and that has nothing to do with you. It's all about the toxic boss, but you're taking it inside. Am I landing the plane here? So no wonder you can't communicate properly. Your brain needs space to function for you to communicate properly. So when I hear someone say, "Hey, Mo, this is all great, but how do I communicate better?" Step one is to get your nervous system under control. Not under control with clenched fist, under control with giving it 10 minutes of space every morning, and you be the master of your nervous system and say, "Hey, nervous system, we're waking up a little early, and I'm just going to help you feel what it feels like to be still." And after a few days, that 10 minutes is going to be lovely. Now, the first couple of days, you might be fighting against it. You may be having to like sit on your hands or hold them like this and be like, set a timer, don't count. If you count, that's 600 that you would count to slowly, but don't do that. Sit. If you're a big girl, you're going to be able to sit for 10 minutes. If you're an infant, you can't. You're not an infant, you're a big girl. So that is the practice that you have to get into in order to do anything better. If you want to be a better sister, daughter, friend, spouse, you need your nervous system to shut down. If you want to be a better self to yourself, you need your nervous system to calm down. You can't be your own best buddy if you're freaking out all the time. If you're running on reactions and you're running on trying to soothe your nervous system rather than to optimize it. I know all about soothing my nervous system. As a matter of fact, I used to try to outrun my nervous system because that was my go-to for managing my stress response. And you can do that because your physical body can burn off adrenaline and some stress. We would call that metabolizing stress. But it doesn't take care of training your nervous system to do something different. Running is not the answer. It feels like it might be, but it's not. When I started meditating as regularly as I was running, my life changed. And now my meditation is much more important than my exercise. Although my exercise is important, my meditation is non-negotiable. Non-negotiable, 30 minutes every morning, and I try to get in there 10 or 20 in the afternoon, evening. Not always. I would want to all the time, and that's one of my goals this quarter actually is to get back into that. Meditating twice a day really, really shifts your nervous system. And what did I tell you the secondary benefit of that is? That it gives your soul some space to come alive, to come back, to open up a little bit. And when that happens, this is advanced stuff right now I'm going to share with you. So I see some of you who are probably my clients, so you're going to get this. The first goal of meditation is to optimize or control, and I don't mean control like this, control your nervous system so that it pays attention to what you're telling it to do. The second is to open up space for your soul, which is the best part of you, is your divinity, it's your connection to source. That's the second goal of meditation. The third is for you to enjoy that connection with your soul so much and spend time there enough that you're not just opening space for your soul, you are literally reconnecting with divine. And use whatever word you want there. Sometimes I use God, sometimes I use source, creator, divine. Sometimes I just feel one with the infinite field. So we can take it from a quantum physics perspective and know that the cells in our body are all vibrating. We can't feel it because our senses can only perceive the physical matter. But underneath what we can sense, there's a vibrational reality happening in our bodies. It's actually happening in my chair and my microphone also. It's not really solid. Take a physics class if you want to learn that more. Everything's vibrating, but our senses can't pick that up because we are limited in our physical senses. But when you get into your soul and you're able to drop into that space, you're going to feel yourself vibrating and you're going to feel yourself being one with the field. And those of you who've come to my retreats or come to some of my programs where we do deeper meditations, by the way, there's still room in my virtual retreat in October. I got lots of stuff going on the next couple of months. Like, if you take advantage of everything I've got going on, by the end of this year, you're going to be like such a bright, shiny soul that people are going to be like, what have you done to yourself? You look 10 years younger. I love helping women find their power, engage with their divine, and have the life that feels right and true for them. I've been doing it for 12 years after I figured it out. Matter of fact, I did it when I came back from my cancer journey. I helped my colleagues, my team members, not my colleagues, the people who reported to me because they would listen. I helped them reconnect with themselves. And some of them came to me and said, hey, Mo, that stuff you did in the leadership meeting the other day helped me reconnect with my wife. And she was like, wow, you're really more present. So I knew that those techniques were going to work for humans. But then I decided I want to help more women be more powerful in the world because I know how to fight to get ahead and to do the right things. And I did a great job with that, but not a lot of women have that. So you have it, but it's not accessible to you unless your soul is on fire and lit up. So we have the nervous system response, and you can't be a better communicator. You can't work less and understand how that can be positive if your nervous system is in fight or flight mode. And by the way, it's fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Oh, you're so nice. Oh, you're so wonderful. Oh, I love you. So there's 4 F responses in the stress response: fight, flee, freeze, fawn. Freeze is more like this, and fawn. So those are all stress responses. And when you meditate, you bring your stress responses down. Objective number 2, you open space for your soul. When you open space for your soul, by the way, you also open space for the bullshit to come out, and you can start cleaning up the shit in there without actually even having to do the work. You do some work, but it starts relieving itself, it starts coming out. And then the third piece is really connecting with the divine and connecting with the vibrational field. And when you do that, you can create things. You can create your life. You can manifest. So much stuff out there about the manifestation and the law of attraction is very incomplete. You can't just write affirmations and speak affirmations and be connected to the field. It doesn't work. Like, I want to tell everyone, it is not that simple or that one-dimensional. The law of attraction means that you have to be vibrating and connected to the field. And one of my coaches and mentors calls it the energy of heaven. And that's a really cool way to describe it, because when we're connected to the energy of heaven, we are literally connected to the energy of creation, which means you can visualize and create through your vivid imagination a different life, a different world, and even different people in your life. I know that might sound a little far-fetched, but your divine creator and your divine partner in life is really out for your best interest. But if you don't open up and connect, you're not going to get that. I know that it would be sort of weird to say that God doesn't really help everyone, but if you're too busy playing dice with the devil, God's not opened up and you're not opened up. And it could be God, it could be source, divine creation. Again, the word is your personal choice. If you're stressed out, poisoning your mind and your psychology and your body with negativity, you are not connected to your creator. No way. No way. Because your creator doesn't play in that sandbox. Your creator plays in the sandbox of your body not being in the way of your soul. Your creator plays in the sandbox of soul forward. And when you live soul forward, you're not going to work as hard. You're going to work hard. You're going to effort. You're going to put your gifts and talents to work. You're going to do things more easily. You're going to have the right conversations and be able to sort of like practice the right script, because you're going to be able to remember and execute. And when you're stressed out, you can't do that. So, all of the things that are problems for you get fixed in the realm of what you can access through meditation. So, again, here we go. The life manual for how to get your nervous system out of the way, how to connect with the source of your soul, how to optimize your soul, how to use it, and then how to live soul forward. And I call that leverage. I made a word. I know. Kind of quirky of me, isn't it? So I'm going to explain each of these pieces as we build up to our book launch, which is September 15th. I would love you to share my book link, which is thesoulcodebook.com. I would love you to share it. Let's get everyone on the planet understanding how this really works. You can't just go to church. I mean, go to church, fine, great. But if you're stressed out and you go to church, you're closed off anyway. It doesn't work. And you could completely connect with yourself, get your nervous system out of the way, connect with divine, get yourself in this perfectly lovely state of being totally one with divinity. And to me, that's what we're going after. It doesn't require a religion. It requires your soul to be opened up, to be brought alive. And you, my dear lovely soul people, are in charge of that. You are the gatekeeper of your soul. And if you're letting stress, toxicity, negative self-talk, feeling like others are in charge of you and others are to blame for your misfortunes, which I understand that that appeals to the ego. I get it. Believe me. Spent lots of years doing all that also, but it doesn't work. Your responsibility comes when you say, you know what? I've had enough of this. I got to get my body and my nervous system deregulated and optimized so I can open up space for my soul. I need to know who I really am. And then I need to live from that version of me. So when I say, years ago, when I first started doing this, I said, bring your soul to work. And although that sounds really nice, I don't think a lot of people really understand that. I think they thought that it was like bring your wounded self to work, like bring your whole self, which is zero of what I'm talking about. When you open your gateway to your soul, you are going to be more of the lovely version of you, not in a fake way, not in a performance way, but because you're giving yourself space to get rid of the bullshit. And if there's a lot of healing to do in there, you got to do the work. You got to. No one's going to do it for you. And there's no Prince Charming who's going to run in and save you from your own internal mess. And no amount of money will do that either. There's a lot of messy, broken, flawed people with money. But there's also lovely people with money. So it's not about the position or the money or the anything. It's about who are you inside? Have you taken responsibility to connect with your soul and be the true version of you? Then you can live on purpose. Then you can fulfill what this mission is for you to live on this planet at this time, which is to be someone who lifts all of us up, not single-handedly. But when you get better, we all get better. When you start vibing at a higher level, we all do. So that is your number one mission, is to learn to get your physical body out of the way of your soul. So can you promise for yourself to sit for a minute, if that's all you can do, sit with them for a minute, or sit for 2 or 3, whatever you can, maybe turn the timer on for 10 minutes and just see what's possible. Build yourself to that level. Build yourself to 10 minutes. And then stay at 10 minutes for a little while. Get good at that. Get good at creating that level of space. Get good at creating the optimized version of you where your nervous system is taken down. Because as soon as you wake up, you know what happens, right? You're going to follow the routine. You're going to bitch about your life. You're going to bitch about how you feel waking up. You're going to bitch about the fact that you have to go to work. And then you're going to say, oh, I need my coffee. Oh, my God. So you're going to be dragging yourself through a life of resentment, regret, and turmoil. It's not why you were born. Please. It's not why you were born. Come on now. Bring your soul. Bring your soul. Bring your soul. So I'm going to spend the next few weeks. I think next week I'm going to do this on Thursday. I have a family funeral. So we'll let you know. But join my free Substack list and you'll get notified when I'm live. I'm doing this every week. Plus, I'm going to be going live on Facebook starting Saturday. I'm going to be here more than usual. And part of it is to make sure enough people get my book, because I want everyone to know how to do this. I want everyone to understand how to reach in and claim their soul back and get the devil out of the freaking way. And that is by getting your nervous system under your control, not under some boss, not under your sister-in-law who gets under your skin. No one gets ownership of you. And that's freedom. So everyone's looking for freedom. That's where it is. It's you being in charge of you, and you being in charge of how clear and awesome you can be. So when you move in that direction, you won't have to work a gazillion hours to prove yourself. People will see you differently. You'll be resonating and vibrating at a level where people will be like, "Oh, you really seem like you're ready for the next move now." If you're overworking, no one's going to pick you for promotion. And likely your family is a little bit pissed off about it. Am I right? Am I right? You know it. So today's message is for you to really start drawing some commitments for yourself. Let's just call it commitments. Draw some commitments for yourself. Write them down. And again, not just external. Give yourself some commitments about how you're going to be present for yourself. Give yourself that 10 minutes, less if it has to be less, every single day. You deserve that space. I mean, 10 minutes. If you're not worth 10 minutes for yourself, I don't know if I can help you. So go with that. Get that starter piece going, okay? And if you feel like you can't meditate or you never could or you're a failure on it or whatever, just stop talking like that. Wake up and sit in your favorite chair. And you could, if you have an Alexa or if you have a Siri, you can just say, set a timer for 10 minutes. Just sit there. Be still. Be cool. You got this. That's how you're going to stop working so damn hard. And that's how you're going to begin to be able to have more mastery over how you speak. Because if you're pissed off and stressed out, you're going to speak like a pissed off and stressed out person. You're going to get in trouble with that. It doesn't work. People aren't going to really like that. But that might be what you feel like you have to do to protect yourself. It doesn't work. So what works is 10 minutes of you time every morning. Try that out. Let me know how it works. We'll be sending this recording out, and you can watch it. If you're watching this on YouTube, cool. Give me a comment. I want you to commit to yourself the 10 minutes to be in your grace. I'll see you next time, and all over social media. This is Coach Mo, Soul Code Book. You can get your pre-order copy at thesoulcodebook.com. And please, then you'll get a free meditation from me. You'll get some other stuff, and you'll be invited to our September 15th Soul Code Day of Release for your soul. I'm going to show you personally how to move through all these pieces. We'll see you next week. Have a great week. 10 minutes to yourself tomorrow morning. Do it. See you next time.